Well, the conversation that we've been having has just added a new wrinkle, and it is not a small one.
95.7 The Game breaking news.
Free agent center Kristaps Porzingis has agreed to a 2-year, $40 million contract with the Golden State Warriors.
Wow.
The second year is a player option, so the power to Kristaps in year 2 of this deal, 2 years, $40 million. Porzingis is back in for the Dubs.
Wow. Okay, so Kristaps Porzingis is back. I think logic suggested if the AD LeBron thing was going to happen, it's obviously more difficult to fit Porzingis on here. It also becomes a little bit redundant when you have Porzingis, Al Horford, and Anthony Davis.
Correct.
So what does this mean for Anthony Davis and LeBron James?
I think it means what we've been saying all along is this thing ain't happening.
So why the hell did Draymond opt out?
Because it's going to give the Warriors the flexibility to try, and if it doesn't happen, they'll sign him to a 2-year deal and have money to do other things. By the way, don't dismiss that it might have helped this. And that I know is going to piss everybody off.
Draymond opting out might have helped Porzingis come back, is what you're saying?
I mean, I'm sure it didn't hurt. 2 years, $40 million, not nothing. It's not nothing.
I've got like 8 questions I need to ask Bobby Marks.
Boy, that ended up being a really well-timed booking. I'm so glad that he couldn't do 3:15. Do you know how happy I am that he couldn't do 3:15? So Ramona Shelburne at 4:15, Bobby Marks at 4:45. Kristaps is back, and I'm with you, Grandy. I don't know this, but I certainly was under the impression that if the Anthony Davis-LeBron thing happened, Kristaps was probably going to be a casualty of that idea. And the fact that he's back is yet another signal to me that the Anthony Davis portion of this might not be in the Warriors' actual plans. I'm sure that they would love to have LeBron. But what I'd also love, and this is where my brain goes, I'd love to be in the Clutch Sports boardroom right now. Because isn't this a little bit of a wrench in what they just tried to create? If what they were trying to create was a leverage option for LeBron, AD, and Draymond?
Well, because it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah.
But so okay, I'm doing some math here. I got my Excel table up.
Is the math still there?
And shout out Goo. I think the math is still there. So the important things that we need to keep an eye on is to get LeBron here. Theoretically, you need to give him the $15 million
full mid-level,
which is the non-taxpayer mid-level.
Yes.
Which hard caps you at the bottom of the first apron. So
right.
You can't jump past the first apron,
right?
Which is just a number. I think it's like $208 million, right around there. You can't go any higher than that number. So that gives you your hard cap, where you have to fit an entire roster under. With Steph Curry at his number, with Anthony Davis at his number, with Kristaps at about 20 per year, but it can start as low as 19 just based on the rule. So let's say it's 19 for the first year, 21 for next year, right? Whatever it is. That would allow you to give LeBron James the $15 million for the total full non-taxpayer mid-level.
Yes.
Fill out the rest of your roster with Yaxo Lendeborg at the rookie number of $6 million.
Okay.
And then a bunch of minimums elsewhere.
Is Pods still on the team?
Pods is still on the team.
Okay. Is he getting an extension?
Not with this currently. And then that gives you Draymond Green $19 million as well for this season. And that fits.
Okay.
Just essentially at the first apron line.
We will confirm your math with Bobby. But it would seem to make it even more difficult.
You have very, 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 very little wiggle room. Yes.
Obviously,
but I think it is mathematically possible.
Now, the other side of this,
structurally possible.
Hold on, let me add to this. If an Anthony Davis trade was going to happen, there could be assets on the way out the door.
There could be more.
And some of them could be financial.
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to look here.
Maybe Kristaps is going to be in the deal.
You can't sign him and then trade him.
I know, I'm kidding.
Unless it is a sign and trade.
No, yeah, I don't think that's what this is.
No.
Okay, all right. So let's add that into the conversation.
2 years, $40 million, player option for the second year for Kristaps Porzingis back with the Warriors. On the day that Jonathan Kuminga gets his option declined by the Hawks, the Warriors re-signed the guy they got back for Kuminga. I'll leave that there.
That.
I love Kuminga.
I'm so glad that came from you.
Just leave it there. And guess who has interest in Kuminga? Maybe the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, the Kings sound interested in everybody, which is not surprising at all.
Kuminga come back on a vet min.
Yeah. Acuff, Kuminga, and Duran. Yeah. There's your new big three in sack. Yeah, baby. Take it to the hoop. Let's go to Lucky in the city. Hi, Lucky. Ramona Shelburne in 20 minutes. What's up, Lucky?
Afternoon, Willard. How you guys doing, man? I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Man.
What's shaking?
Up, Randy?
What's up?
Well, I've been on this disabled list like Jimmy and Brandon, but the one difference between me and Brandon is I'm not being and complaining about not getting paid. I have to fight for mine. And as far as Jimmy, I love my job, right? So I'd rather come back here and play. And as far as bringing LeBron, that's a big fat no, Willard. You know that. You know, I'm a proponent of beating him, not have him joining us. So if we can go get, we already brought back Porzingis and Horford.
Yep.
Go get another guard. Bring back Milton. Bring back somebody else like a short-term wing that's a C-plus player. That's all we need. And we can do it. Let's go.
Lucky, that's probably the leader in the clubhouse, I'd say. But when you say we can do it, let's go. Like, okay, they do all that, then that means what to you?
That means to me that we're heading in a step where I know nobody wants to talk about it and say we're crazy. But me as a fan of watching basketball, well, it's over 50 years, I have to say that I think we have a legitimate shot at getting back into contendership.
Okay.
Not saying championship, but we have a shot at getting back in the playoffs and making some noise.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, Lucky, thanks. Appreciate it. I mean, I think it's going to likely fall to that, whether it's by design or not. That's been my take all along. I think yours too, which is that the Warriors have created a flexibility and an avenue for this to happen with the help of Draymond Green, but I still find it to be unlikely to happen. I think the most likely thing to happen is that these guys sign extensions where they already are. And by the way, that's the part of it that I support. When we were talking a minute ago, and I'm like, I wouldn't do this, I support the Warriors' idea of if this is the way it went, which is, okay, Draymond opts out, let's create the avenue for this to happen. But if it doesn't happen, we go to our plan B or plan C or plan D. And if those plan B, C, D mean 2 more years for Draymond Green, that's okay. That's okay. I know that this is like a trigger point for people, but if you can sort of see what the Warriors are doing, look at these contracts. 2 years. That's what they're doing. Kristaps, Al, 2 years. 2 years. Steph Curry has 1 year left. What kind of an extension is he probably going to sign? A 1-year extension. Everything is lining up about Steph. It's not so much about Draymond. And so that's just kind of, that's what I see as the straw that stirs the drink and why they're going to try to set everything up for 2 years, which is partially why the Anthony Davis thing never really made sense to me, because that's going to be way more expensive than that.
By the way, if it does end up happening and they fit this through this really small window that they have now with the Porzingis extension, LeBron would be the 5th highest paid Warrior.
Good point.
Behind Steph, Anthony Davis, Draymond, and Porzingis, then LeBron James.
Maybe he wouldn't even start.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
come off the bench.
Come off the bench.
Hey, LeBron, the one award you haven't won in your career is Sixth Man of the Year.
Sixth Man of the Year is a great point.
Why don't you just sweep the whole awards?
Just a wonderful point.
Yeah.
All right, if you're just tuning in, we're going to keep going with the phones. Ramona Shelburne at 4:15 and Bobby Marks at 4:45. The news of the day is this. Draymond Green has opted out of his contract. He has declined the player option. So he is currently a free agent, but the word is that this is very much all being worked on together. The concept that's being reported is that is allowing the Warriors to explore the idea of LeBron on the mid-level and potentially trying to trade for Anthony Davis using Jimmy Butler's contract plus assets. Yes.
Really quick, and we're going to have the man himself on in 45 minutes at 4:45. Yes. But Shams has added on to his initial report of the Porzingis extension.
Porzingis, yes.
And he says the deal, according to Bobby Marks, likely prohibits Golden State from using the full non-taxpayer mid-level.
Okay.
Likely prohibits.
Yeah.
Which, not for sure, but which means not only is the Anthony Davis part of it very, very unlikely.
So is LeBron.
LeBron is unlikely. Because the only way unless LeBron's willing to take $6 million, is instead of $15 million. Mm-hmm. But the only way you feel like you can make it somewhat palatable for LeBron is the $15 million full non-taxpayer mid-level.
I am no capologist, but my understanding in everything I've read today was that if the Warriors pulled off the AD LeBron thing, it probably meant Kristaps being gone.
Probably.
And Kristaps just signed a 2-year, $40 million deal.
I do think there is a mathematical possibility, but it's like everything has to line up on the dollar to get it to work out.
We'll ask Bobby in 45 minutes, okay? You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station in the home of the Golden State Warriors and Valkyries, always live on the free Odyssey app and coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. No doubt Ramona is going to have a word or two to say about it as well, and she's on in 15 minutes. Matt in San Jose. Hi, Matt. Thanks for calling, bud. What you doing?
I'm actually on my lunch break, working Amazon, driving the big truck.
Okay.
Doing pretty good today.
Good, bud.
To the point before the break, talking about, would you do this as a fan? I would greenlight this in a heartbeat as far as signing LeBron, simply because if you look at the totality of his career, LeBron makes, on average, about $25 million a year. If you take his rookie deal out, that number is more like 30. And if there's any chance to get him for something like 15, you got to take that when you know you're a team that doesn't have wings. Moody's hurt, Butler's hurt, and you've already had the wings issue. We had the whole blue cheese and ranch conversation. They don't have wings. So if you can get LeBron, who can come in and play some sort of wing position, point forward, wing forward, whatever in the world he's going to do, I think it helps you in terms of trying to bridge that gap until Jimmy comes back and then you're a little bit more whole, trying to get to the postseason and give this thing a shot. But the whole thing with this is about the tournament. If you can get into the tournament, these guys want to turn up in the tournament. They feel like their playoff performance is what makes their legacies. And so they feel like they can still do this thing as long as they get to the tournament with some sort of health.
Matt, I think you're spot on. Thanks, Matt. I think you're spot on with regard to the way these guys think about it. Just get in and give them a chance. And there's a lot of merit to this, at least in a small-ish sample. Steph beat the Rockets a couple seasons ago. LeBron beat the Rockets this year in the playoffs. And in both cases, they were down some of their help. Jimmy was kind of a mess in that series with his health and missed some time. LeBron was completely without Luka and Austin Reeves. And so there's some evidence that these guys do have some real cachet. Once you get into the playoffs, you don't deal with back-to-backs anymore. It's not crazy. What's crazy to me are all the other ideas that LeBron would leave his son and be the 4th or 5th highest paid player on the team, and that the Warriors would sign brittle AD for 4 or 5 years from now, and the Warriors would trot Jimmy Butler out to press conferences and then ship him out 3 days later. These are the things that are hard for me to wrap my head around.
It's also just making it through an 82-game regular season, so when you get to the playoffs, those guys are capable and able and healthy enough to play. Because you can just say, well, those are 16-game players, right? Draymond talks about the 16-game player a lot, the guy that's made and at his best when the playoffs come around. You have to be available. Not only just you have to be healthy, your team has to be good enough in the regular season to get there in the first place.
Yep.
It's been hell for the Warriors just to get there the last few seasons. They didn't make it last year. And obviously the regular season was terrible with all the injuries to Jimmy and then also to Steph. But, you have to get there. It's not a guarantee that you get all these 36, 37, 38-plus year olds on a roster and you say, well, by the time the playoffs are here, they will be more fearsome than they will be in the regular season. There's no guarantee you get there in the first place. And everything you said is true about him leaving the Lakers and leaving his son, or also bringing his son up here, whatever that is. Like, those are all hoops you got to jump through to make it all possible. But then when you make it all possible, they have to survive a regular season at least enough to the point where the team is good enough to qualify for the playoffs in the first place.
I think that this stuff gets really interesting when you start to think about what the Warriors are doing. Less in terms of the basketball standings of it all, and more in terms of the entertainment entity and outlet that they are, their landscape, their standing in the community. And here's what I mean by that. I would bet, I don't know this, but I would bet that the Warriors look down the street and they think to themselves,
the Giants.
Yeah, maybe they go, let's not do that if we can avoid it.
What is that? What do you mean?
Have one winning record in a decade.
Oh, I see.
Let's not do that if we can avoid it. And the quickest way to sign up for that is to just completely blow off the future and get all excited about the next 12 months of your life only and dump everything into that and then sit in a chair and hope. You know, we just had a texter that this made me laugh. Thank you for this, 408. The Bay Area sports world's really asking a lot of the Celebrini family.
I saw that. That's a good one.
Right. Hey, Macklin, you win a championship. Meanwhile, let's have your dad keep a bunch of 40-year-olds and some of the most brittle 7-footers in the world on the court on the nightly basis.
You'll love this. Did you see the draft grade that the Sharks got for their 3 picks in the first round?
You know I love draft grades.
Not only an A, not only an A+, an A++. That
doesn't exist.
I saw.
It doesn't exist.
I saw that from ESPN. A++.
There's no such thing as an A++.
For the Sharks draft.
It
Come on down, Ivar Stenberg. A++. They got one of the best wingers and one of the best defensemen in the entire draft.
Draft grades.
And more.
Even stupid.
And I think in the 7th round, they drafted a 7-foot hockey player. Have you ever heard that before in your life?
No.
A 7-foot hockey player.
Wait a minute. Did Kristaps sign with the Sharks or the Warriors?
A++.
Hang on, let me read the tweet again.
A++.
Porzingis 2-year deal, $40 million. No, to the Warriors. He signed with the Warriors.
Okay, that's a different 7-footer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Boston. Good Lord. Yeah.
So Porzingis is back. 2 years, $40 million. Player option for the 2nd year.
Just in kind of recapping all the things that we were talking about. So, yes, Draymond has declined the option. Rumors persisting that the Warriors would chase both LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That is made harder by this most recent news. Kristaps Porzingis, 2-year, $40 million contract to return to the Golden State Warriors. There are a lot of rumors bouncing around. Ja Morant has been traded to the Portland Blazers.
Yeah.
And yes, as Grandy mentioned, the Atlanta Hawks yesterday, in what had to be considered a parlay of upsets, they have picked up the option on Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
And declined the option on Jonathan Kuminga.
Uh-huh. So Jonathan Kuminga is a free agent and can sign wherever he wants, which I think is what he's ultimately wanted, but we'll see how much money he gets.
Yeah, but I think it is also representative of the fact that the number. I don't think the Hawks dislike Jonathan Kuminga. No. I just think that this is
$24 million.
$24 million.
Yep.
He has not shown to be a $24 million player as of yet. So. From the money standpoint of what he wanted, unless the Hawks are woefully misinformed, he's not getting that on the open market. He can get more than $24 million, total for multiple years. Yeah. But I wonder what number is out there for Jonathan Kuminga and where he will land. But that really ended up being just an odd experience, quite frankly. That period of time where Jonathan went out there and had a number of good games and really had some good vibes going for him, not only within the organization, but the arena. The arena was all turned up especially for a couple weeks. It was like the Warriors were really wearing it because Atlanta seemed to feel like they had just lucked into a young star and gave up nothing to get him. And then something happened between then and now to where they decided to let him go. They completely let him go.
Yep.
You know,
They don't feel like they gave up that much with Porzingis.
No,
so
and
it's
they
not
didn't.
like they lost out on a crazy asset.
No, but
No.
But what is confirmed today is neither did the Warriors.
No.
Right? So
Yeah,
the whole
correct.
pointing and laughing at the Warriors from the Hawks fans and Dominique Wilkins seems to have been premature. I think is part of what I'm getting.
I think so. Yeah. By the way, we're going to talk to Bobby Marks about it, and Ramona Shelburne coming up next, and then Bobby Marks. But I think the way that you would make it work, talking about with Porzingis back, 2 years, $40 million, if you were to still try to make the math work to get LeBron and Anthony Davis here, I think it would take, obviously, Jimmy Butler heading out to get Davis in here.
Sure.
And then Draymond takes essentially the same contract as Porzingis, 2 years, $40 million.
That's what we were thinking.
And maybe it's $19 million in the first year for both those guys, $21 million in the second year. You use the full $15 million non-taxpayer mid-level on LeBron, and then the other money you'd have to move off of is something like Moses Moody. So you'd have to find a taker for an injured Moses Moody and his contract, which is a relatively cheap contract, but who knows how he's going to be as a player going forward.
Yeah. But I mean, you can find a taker on that. Like he's coming off of his best year.
But even still with that, you have to, everything has to line up exactly to the dollar, and you have to fill up the rest of your contract or rest of your roster on minimums, essentially. So I do think it is possible. But as Shams said, as Bobby Marks said, it likely prohibits them. Which does not mean it's 100% done, but yes, unlikely.
Yeah. And you would be parting with assets that you want too.
Correct.
Which are unknown at this hour.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
So then what the heck, what was all going on this morning?
I try to tell everybody, I'd love to show you. I mean, you know what? It's too early to do that because I could still be wrong.
What were you going to show me?
No, my high school friends all have a group chat. We talk to each other every day. And whenever stuff comes up, they're all Bay Area sports fans.
They all just assume
the
Warriors are getting...
Willard, what is it? What is it? Like, I'm reading this. Willard, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. But I texted him. I go, this Kevin O'Connor thing last night does not feel real to me. It doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. I've had some conversations within people, like whatever.
Yeah.
People who are dialed in. This does not jive with the Warriors thinking that has been explained to me. Now, things change, so you always have to be aware of that, and that's where my head went. Maybe Rich Paul called the Warriors this weekend and said, LeBron would like to come, but you have to get AD too. Maybe that happened. That sounds a little far-fetched, but maybe it did, and therefore the Warriors' thinking changed. But I go, this does not add up with the way the Warriors are thinking at all, and I find it hard to believe that even the players would all play ball with this, and that LeBron would be like, yeah, I demand that I'm not the third highest paid player. I want to be the fourth. I demand it. Like, it's just, really?